Sri Radha Krishna Gopal Sam Radha Navam Dham ki jai, Navadip Dham ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Madhu Dham ki jai, Swami Bhakti ki jai, all praise.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Jai Prabhupada ki jai. So Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So you are welcome to today's continuation of the Unit 10, Lesson 1. So I will say the Magana Charam while we wait for other devotees to join us. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Nara Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashta Prayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki Tadara Jastamo Bhava Kamalu Badayaschaye Chaitana Vedam Sitam Sati Prasidati Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Chalakaya Shakshuruminitanjina Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapetanyena Bhutale Suyam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Supadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupa Sagrajata Sagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padasagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapati Gopesha Gopika Kantara Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sati Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Kavichandra Swami Sinamini Namaste Prabhupada Tari Nama Pracharini Granta Vitarana Vitiveshashagayini Sada Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Rashitarini Panchatattamakam Krishna Bhakta Rupa Surupakam Bhakta Vatara Bhakta Kyam Namam Bhakta Shatkam Panchakapatarubyascha Kipasindubhya Evacha Patitana Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So thank you very much for coming early. We really appreciate that. The earlier we come, the best, so that we can make use of our time. Time is very short, especially when you are talking about Krishna. See that time move very fast. We talk and 2 hours is gone. We don't even feel it. This is we can get a glimpse of what Krishna consciousness is. When Parishit Maharaj was sitting for 7 days hearing about Krishna Katha, just imagine the purity of Shukadev Goswami speaking Krishna Srimad Bhagavatam and the purity of Parishit Maharaj listening. Just see how they will be absorbing themselves in that pastimes. And 7 days will be nothing for them. Just like we are not even up to that level. 2 hours is like nothing when we are talking about Krishna Katha. So there is no time. So we have to start early. So just to, from where we stopped yesterday, we are in Unit 10, Brahma prayers for creative energy. Yesterday we discussed about the beginning of prayers, Lord Brahma prayers, when he was offering prayers to the Lord, and he talked about time. So we discussed a little about time and how time is conspicuous by its absence in the spiritual world, and how time is influencing everything in this material world. Time is a major influence of material creation. We discussed that extensively yesterday. And also we talked about the Lord Brahma was offering the prayer and he was talking about the impersonalists. And we discussed about the two major categories of impersonalists, the Brahmavadis and the Mayavadis. And devotees asked various questions about that yesterday, so we discussed about that. And towards the end of our discussion yesterday, we talked about the importance of using material word for Krishna. And that I remember everybody gave their own contribution. It was very wonderful how we understood the purport. But then I concluded by saying that first thing must come first, and that is we should become pure devotee first, because that is the most important. When we become pure devotee, then just like the analogy given in the text 6 of the purport, so even material wealth will not be able to distract us. It will be like the snake that the venom has been removed. So we will not be scared of material wealth. But till then, we should be very conscious because material energy is not easy. It's very powerful. It controls everything. Even Lord Shiva, when Lord Shiva doubted material energy, when he heard about Moini Moti, so he doubted material energy, they doubted the energy of the Lord. So he went to the Lord himself and said, Krishna, I'm Lord Shiva. I'm Dhira. Another name for Lord Shiva is Dhira. That's why when I hear the name of Bhakti Dhira Damodara Maharaj, I love that name because Dhira actually is his title. Sometimes they give Sannyasi title. Dhira is his title. Dhira means one who is not disturbed, even when there's so many reasons to be disturbed. And it's true. For someone to be in Nigeria, practicing brahmachari for many years, so many reasons to be disturbed. So that is why Maharaj is called Dhira. So Lord Shiva, that is another name for Lord Shiva, Dhira. So Lord Shiva went to Krishna. Said, I'm Dhira. I'm not disturbed. I want to see that Moini Moti. I will not be disturbed. And immediately the Lord manifested that form. Lord Shiva's peacefulness could not hold. And he started following and dropping semen here and there to show how powerful the energy of the Lord is. So we cannot look down on the energy of the Lord. Krishna say, this is my divine, this energy is my energy. And it's divyam, it's duratya, and it's very difficult. It's not only that it's divine, it's very difficult to overcome. So Krishna's energy, we cannot look, no. Material world, you cannot do. It's not true. It's not true. So that is why those who are saintly, they are very, very conscious and very careful because they know how trickish Krishna's energies is. So we discussed about it yesterday, and Prabhupada gave very wonderful in the Bhaktivedanta purport. It was very nice. The purport, the way Prabhupada put it in the purport about material wealth. So today we are going to continue from text 7. So I'm going to read to start. Text 7 today. Devena te hata diyo bhavata prasangat sarvasubho pashamana vimukendriyaye kuruvanti kama sukale shalavaya dina loba biputa manaso kushanani shashwat. Translation. Oh my Lord, persons who are bereft of all auspiciousness, performance of chanting and hearing about your transcendental activities are certainly unfortunate and also bereft of good sense. They engage in inauspicious activities, enjoying sense gratification for a very little while. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The next question is why people are engaged such auspicious activity as chanting and hearing the glories and pastimes of the Lord, which can bring total freedom from the cares and anxiety of material existence. The only answer to this question is that they are unfortunate because of supernatural control due to offensive activity performed simply for the sake of sense gratification. Please take note. The only answer to this question is that they are unfortunate because of supernatural control due to their offensive activity performed simply for the sake of sense gratification. The Lord's pure devotee, however, take compassion upon such unfortunate persons and in a missionary spirit try to persuade them into the line of devotional service. Only by the grace of pure devotee can such unfortunate men be elevated to the position of transcendental service. So yesterday, I said that we should read before today. So how many of us have done that? And have taken our notes?
I've done it.
Okay, Prabhu, please. What do you understand from this verse we are reading today? Please, I want to hear from you.
This particular text?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. Yeah. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, just the last conclusion is said the only answer to this question is that they are fortunate because of supernatural control due to their offensive activities performed, simply for the sake of sense gratification. People are so much distracted by sense gratification. They think material life is just to enjoy, and they are averse to devotional service, that is chanting, hearing. They are averse to it because of their attachment to that sense gratification. And because of the external energy, they are bewildered, carried away. So now they are praising the activities of devotees for engaging in missionary spirits, because despite the negative activity towards devotional service, devotees are still pure devotees are still very much inclined, to help them out of the problem. And then they mention sense gratification as being temporary also. It's just for a while. Yeah. At the end of it, you regret. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you for your contribution. Any other person want to contribute? Any other realization different from Prabhu's realization?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Tama.
Yes. Again, we lack of, I can say we, the devotees, some of us will lack of thinking of chanting and then hearing the transcendental names and the pastimes of the Lord. That make us fall into those of the energy of man. So the lacking of the land of chanting and hearing of the that is a problem. So anyone who fall in this thing means the lack of those things. That's why he said only those, the notice from here, the pure devotees. Let me take it. Only the answer to this question. He said only the answer to the question. So we are unfortunate because we have it. We have what we have is okay. So we use it. That is on that. That's where we lack of things. And when we fall to that, that is our
network. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay, Prabhu. Thank you
yes.
very much.
So yes, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. So yes. So that is it. So that is a summary of everything. It's very, very wonderful that in this from test 7, test 8, the previous verses we studied, Lord Brahma was offering prayer to the Lord, and he was condemning impersonalism. And in this verse we are reading, and the one subsequent one is condemning non-devotee and their unfortunate situation. Just like Prabhuji have, as Madhava Prabhu and Tamakrisha Prabhu has nicely explained. So the non-devotee, they are unfortunate because Prabhupada used the word offensive. Is it offensive activity performed? Due to, before using that word offensive, he used another word, supernatural. It means that it's not their own doing also. So it's a combination of both supernatural and their own doing. It's a two combination. So it makes it completely difficult for them to go against sense gratification. I pray that we don't find ourselves in that kind of situation, because sometimes we look at people who are absorbing sense gratification, and we think we look at them, we look down on them, and we feel great, and we feel wonderful. Actually, we can see the spirit of Prabhupada in the purpose. He was very compassionate. He used that word, compassion. That is how a devotee feels when you see people engage in such activities. We should feel compassion. Because it's not our own doing that somehow or the other we are getting this mercy. And also, although they are very unfortunate, but as Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, sometimes somehow or the other they have put themselves in the hands of supernatural power to be offensive in order to be absorbed in such activities also. So it's a very, very deep thing that is happening there. He said, Prabhupada said, the only answer to this question is that they are unfortunate because of supernatural control due to the offensive activity performed simply for the sake of sense gratification. So if devotee also become unfortunate, like Tamakrishna Prabhu mentioned, and we start appreciating sense gratification more than devotional service, we lose taste also in chanting and hearing. This is another point here also. When we become unfortunate, if you look in Bhagavad Gita at 7:15, Krishna mentioned name Namaduskrito Muda, Papradiante Naradama. Krishna is explaining there the four kinds of people who don't surrender to him. He said, Namaduskrito Muda, Papradiante Naradama. Asurin Baba Mashrita. Maya Parita Gyan, Ashurin Baba Mashrita. So Krishna explained in that particular verse, he said, Namaduskrito Muda, Papradiante Naradama. And Muda, there are foolish people, like Lord Brahma also is going to talk about the foolish people also. But there is Naradama, there are other people they call Naradama. Naradama means lowest among mankind. And when we talk about lowest among mankind, what does that mean? Lowest among mankind means those who are fortunate to come to the knowledge that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God, and still they refuse to surrender. They are called Naradama. They have come to the platform that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God, though. Still they refuse to surrender. So their own situation is even worse than the foolish people. The foolish people, they are not aware. They don't have knowledge. That's why they are foolish. But this Naradama, they are aware, they have knowledge, but still they refuse to surrender. And that's why they are the lowest among mankind. So devotees should be very careful. We devotees should be very, very careful to look down on others. Because sometimes when you are envious of somebody, what you are telling the nature, what you are telling the universe, and you are telling Krishna is that, Krishna, you are not God. Why do you put this person in this position? I'm supposed to be in that position. That's what you are telling Krishna. You know? Why do you put this person in position? I'm supposed to be in that position. So when devotees become envious of materialistic people, this is what happened also. So what happened is that instead of you to make advancement, you retrograde, you go down. That is why you see many devotees, before you know, they start desiring sense gratification themselves. Because they are not seeing the hands of Krishna in everything. Instead of them to be compassionate to those who are attached to sense gratification, who are averse to hearing and chanting about the glories of Krishna, they are envious of them. It's a very thin line. Sometimes neophyte devotee, they talk as if they despise material enjoyment. Actually, they are envious of it. So one has to be very careful. Because properly here, he mentioned here, he says, the Lord pure devotee will take compassion upon such unfortunate person. In the missionary spirit, try to persuade them. We don't condemn them. Prabhupada does not say that we condemn. No, we don't condemn or criticize or look down. No. Out of compassion, you try to persuade them. That is where this preaching spirit comes. Try to encourage them to take a book of Krishna. Give them a book. Try to encourage them to chant Hare Krishna. This is very, very important. That is the only way to persuade them to come to this platform. So that is a very nice, we should take note of that, that those people who are unfortunate, sometimes it's beyond their control, due to the proper mention supernatural, due to supernatural control and their own offensive nature. So we have to be very careful so that we don't put ourselves in such situation that we become unfortunate also. Then let's go to the test 7. Who wants to read test 7? I'm sorry, test 8. But do you want to read?
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please.
Ask it. To street to be Uma Adamna Sisun Navata Vasna Israel Trakta Kamagnina Chanchicharu Sacha Suda Varina Sampras Yatu Mana Rukrama Siddhate Min. Translations. O great actor, my Lord, all these poor creatures are constantly perplexed by hunger, thirst, severe cold, secretion and bile, attacked by coughing winter, blasting summer, rains, and many other disturbing elements, and overwhelmed by strong sex urges and indefatigable anger. I take pity on them, and am very much aggrieved for them. The purport. The devotee of the Lord, La Brahma, and persons in his secret succession are always unhappy to see the perplexities of the conditioned souls, who are suffering the onslaughts of the threefold mysteries, which pertain to the body and mind, to the disturbances of material nature, and many other such material disadvantages. Not knowing adequate measures for relieving such difficulties, suffering persons sometimes post themselves as elders of the people, and the unfortunate followers are put into further disadvantages under such so-called leadership. This is like a blind man leading another blind man to fall into a ditch. Therefore, unless the devotees of the Lord take pity on them and teach them the right path, their lives are hopeless failures. The devotees of the Lord, who voluntarily take the responsibility of raising the foolish materialistic sense enjoyers, are confidential to the Lord as Lord Brahma. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. So I'll quickly say something about this. And if, based on your own, what you have jotted down, if you have anything that is contrary or different to what I'm saying, you can add it after I finish speaking. So here, it's a very nice one, like it's a continuation of the previous verse. Lord Brahma is continuing his prayer and he's describing the unfortunate situation of the non-devotees. He's describing, he's telling us why they are unfortunate. Prabhupada mentioned in the last purport that due to supernatural control. So here, Lord Brahma is kind of enumerating those supernatural control that is giving us those miseries that we are always constantly trying to evade to gratify our senses. So Lord Brahma is listing them out here. And in the purport, in this purport of this test 8, Prabhupada nicely explained and mentioned about the threefold miseries, the Adhyatmic, Adibhotic, and Adidevic kleshas. The miseries, Adhyatmic, the miseries of our mind, the Adibhotic, miseries from our senses, body. Sorry, Adibhotic, the miseries from other living entities, and Adidevic, the miseries from the supernatural power. So that is what is nicely explained here. Hunger. That is misery from our body and mind. That is hunger. Thirst, the same thing, severe cold. That one is from the higher living entity. Secretion of bile from our body, attacked by coughing, winter, other living entity. That is the Davic. Summer, rain, disturbing element, overwhelmed by strong urges, misery from our senses. Then anger, our mind. So he's saying, my Lord, all these poor creatures are constantly perplexed. So we are all put in. So what he's saying is that if we don't take shelter of Krishna, we will be controlled by all these miseries and be put in this perplexity throughout our life. Every year, there's always winter. There's always cold. Rain. Sometimes the rain will fall. And we start saying, oh, why this rain is falling? We complain so much. Sometimes there is earthquake. You know, there's recent earthquake in Syria and what is the name? That name of that country? Turkey. You know, it took many lives. Very painful. You can see small children in that earthquake. You start feeling bad. Some atheistic people will start saying so many things against God. But is it God doing? No. These are all natural disasters by the demigods. Somebody just shook maybe one demigod just stepped on that place. Maybe one demoniac demigod, demons. Demons also, they are the same level with the demigods. Maybe one demon just step on that place and the place will shake and everything start falling down. You will not see, you will not know because we don't have the eyes to see them. And also it is mentioned also when one demon is born into this world, there will be so many natural calamities happening also. Just like when the great personality is born also, so many wonderful signs were shown in the air. So these things happens. So these miseries has to put us in a situation to always remember God if we are God conscious. But if we are not God conscious, what will happen is that, like Brahma mentioned in this verse, the poor creature, we always try to work to overcome these miseries. And the more we try to overcome them, the more miserable we become. So Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, he said, the devotee of the Lord who voluntarily take the responsibility of raising the foolish materialistic and sense enjoyer are confidential to the Lord as Lord Brahma. So the Prabhupada is here glorifying the preacher, the devotee who have taken the duty of preaching to these people who think that they can be happy in this perplexed world. This place is full of miseries, miserable world. So the Prabhupada is glorifying such personality who have realized. It's not easy for us to realize also, because even we ourselves, we are struggling with our senses and mind. There's this one day, Bhakti Bhagavad Swami Maharaj, he was giving us lecture in Mayapur. So he was mentioning when we were doing our Bhakti Bhagavad. So he was saying, in the early days, devotee, they go out to preach thinking that they want to go and deliver the fallen souls. And before you know, many of them start ending up falling themselves. So who is delivering who? Who is delivering who? Are you delivering them or they are delivering you? Who is delivering who? You want to go and deliver somebody. Before you know, you start doing the thing they are condemning.
Prabhu, it's a struggle. It's a struggle.
It's a struggle. So who is delivering who? That is a big question. Because we have seen it with time. Many devotees, they go out for preaching, brahmachari sometime, sciences sometime. And before you know, after some time, after a long time, they find themselves doing the same thing that they are condemning. So who is delivering who here? So the answer is that we are not going out to deliver. Anybody. By going out to preach, we are actually purifying ourselves. And that is the consciousness we should use in doing that activities. If you think that you are delivering somebody, before you know, you start envious his activities. If you are not on the platform of a pure devotee, you start becoming envious of activity. And what happens naturally is that when you get opportunity, also you start doing the same thing. So as a devotee, we should always be humble. When we go out for preaching, our mood should be, my Lord, I'm going out to purify myself. Just like we see many a times, Prabhupada was always taking a humble mood. When Prabhupada was talking on his appearance day of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was giving glories to his disciples, how they have come to help him. And when Prabhupada was even doing that, he started sharing, he started crying. You can see how much humble Prabhupada was. Very humble. Was very humble. Even when we read Makine Bhagavatam, the song of Srila Prabhupada when he was going to the West, you can see how he was crying and he was praying to the Lord that the Lord, my Lord, I'm your puppet. Please make me dance. I cannot deliver these Milechas and Yamanas. Only if you touch their heart, that they can be able to appreciate your own message. These are prayers of Srila Prabhupada when he was going out to preach. And we are here. We just had a devotion service yesterday, and we think we want to deliver the whole world. Before you know, you are in trouble. Even the Acharya never thought like this. Was always humble. One day, Srila Prabhupada was boldly telling the devotee that I can never fall into Maya. And the devotee was surprised. How can Prabhupada say that? And in the next minute, they saw Prabhupada was crying in front of the deity. They said, Prabhupada, why were you crying in front of the deity? And Prabhupada said, that is why I will never fall to Maya, because I always cry to Krishna. That is Prabhupada. He's showing us how to be humble even when we are preaching. So we should take the humble spirit when we are preaching. We should not think that I am the purifier of the whole world. I want to purify everybody. Before you know, you yourself, you start doing those activities that you despite, those despicable activities that you are speaking against, which is not very good for us. So this, we should take note of this Prabhupada purport. This Bhaktivedanta Swami purport. You can see the Prabhupada mood. When we read Prabhupada purport, we can see his mood and his spirit inside the purport. And that is why Prabhupada is always with us. So the main essence of this Bhakti Vaibhav is to be able to take those spirit of Srila Prabhupada, imbibe it, and apply it into our life. So we read text 9. Asaba Prabhu want to read?
Okay. Eta vandiva lokasya Santa Beda Samarita Tamasya hiani mitasya Vipaka paramestya. So Lord Brahma is the most exalted personality in the universe because of his costless devotional service.
Text 9.
Oh, sorry. Text 9. Yava pitakvam idamatmana indriyata paya balamba kavato jana isha pasyet Tavana samsriti aso prati sankramita yata piduka nivaham bahati kiyata. Oh my Lord, the material miseries are without factual existence for the soul. Yet, as long as the conditioned soul sees the body as meant for sense enjoyment, he cannot get out of the entanglement of material miseries. Being influenced by your eternal external energy. Purport. The whole trouble of the living entity in material existence is that he has an independent conception of life. He is always dependent on the rules of the Supreme Lord in both the conditioned and liberated states. But by the influence of the external energy, the conditioned soul thinks himself independent of the supremacy of the personality of Godhead. His constitutional position is to dovetail himself with the desire of the supreme will. But as long as he does not do so, he is sure to drag on in the shackles of material bondage. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 255, Pajahati yada kamam savam pata manogatam. He has to give up all sorts of plans manufactured by mental concoction. The living entity has to dovetail himself with the supreme will. That will help him to get out of the entanglement of material existence. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, based on your jota, what do you want to say?
Yes. The main point here is that we think ourselves independent of the Supreme Lord. But in fact, and in reality, we can never be independent of the Supreme Lord. We always depend on him, whether in the conditioned state or whether in the liberated state. So we just have to always be mindful that we are, and that's all our problems, our miseries and the troubles in life. This is because we want to be independent.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any other devotee want to contribute to what Prabhu have said, or to what purport of verse? Please, you are free to do so.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Madhava Prabhu, please go ahead.
Yes, just briefly, I think the living entity, they abuse that minute independence given to them. So that's causing all the trouble.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any other contribution?
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
You want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that when we read this particular,
you are not giving us your darshan today.
Multitasking. Forgive me. I'll join you virtually soon.
Okay.
What you said is that the last three tests, 6, 7, 8, 9. Actually, it's just as the indication given in the verse 6 is emphasizing on the illusory nature of the conditioned soul in the material body. And the verse that comes to mind is Prakriti Kriya Manani Gunai Kama Sarvasa. That the living entity thinks himself the doer of activities which are actually being carried out by the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the agency of his material nature, David. So my understanding of these 3-4 verses is that the original challenge of the living entity is thinking himself in position, putting himself in the position of Krishna, and therefore it is always perplexed, and that is the compassionate approach of what Brahma is saying. And actually, when I was making a note on these 3 verses, because I've given classes on these verses before, and the theme I meditated on is that rather than asking God to fix the problem in our lives, that is my application. A devotee should always ask God to be present in his life.
To do what?
To be present in his life.
Okay.
Yeah, the difference is that most often time devotee wants to ask for something, but because we are in a disease state, we don't know what is the best thing for us. So, but when we pray that the Lord should be present in our lives, then the Lord knows what is necessarily required for us in our devotional life towards gaining success. So the Lord takes control. So that's my meditation on this verse.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. I want to ask another question. I want us to have a class discussion, just like what Prabhu have said. Prabhu, if now we pray that Krishna should take control of our life now, and the control that Krishna wants to give us is that we should give up our family life. So what is going to happen?
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. And that is the essence of the prayer. That is the essence of that meditation.
Are you ready to do that?
Of course, if I'm not ready, I wouldn't be sitting here because there are so many options. There are so many options in my life that I could take to. But then I've taken that is the old mode of surrender. That is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, that Sarva Dharma Parityajya. We just abandon every other thing. But that level of surrender may not be 100%. That level of surrender may not be 100% now. I don't want to say that I'm 100% surrender, but I know that I'm on the path of surrender.
Now you are being realistic now. Continue, Prabhu.
Yeah, so that is my mood, that whatever Krishna brings, I take it as the best option for me. Actually, that's my mood now in my approach to Krishna consciousness. Maybe I wasn't having that mood in the past, so I'm suffering. But whatever happens these days, I feel blissful because I feel that this is Krishna's hand. And that, like I always say, that one who sees Krishna in everything, at the end, always see the hand of Krishna in every situation.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. The thing that is here is that, yes, just like Prabhu is saying, the ultimate goal of life is to surrender to Krishna, 100%. But the reality is that many of us, we have not put ourselves in that situation to completely surrender. Because I remember, just like Prabhu is saying, I remember when I was a brahmachari and I was in Mayapur practicing my devotional service. Anytime I want to offer prayer in front of Lord Nishingadev, I'm very introspective, so I always analyze my mind. When I'm offering prayer in front of Lord Nishingadev, I want to pray that, Krishna, please, I want to surrender completely to you. And whatever you like, you do with my life. Then it comes, something will just click in my mind. Hey, Haribo, better be careful of what you are praying. What about if Krishna is bringing what you cannot be able to handle now? Are you ready for that now? Are you ready for that now? Because we have to be very practical. Just like Bhakti Thakur offered prayer, a very practical prayer he offered. And it's still a soul surrender, it's still a surrendering prayer. Bhakti Thakur said, Krishna, my house is yours. My money is yours. Everything around me is yours. I will work very hard to take care of your properties. This is another level of prayer. But it's a soul surrender prayer also. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that when we are offering prayer to Krishna, we want to be surrendered to Krishna, we should analyze our situation before we offer prayer, because many people have offered prayer yesterday and today they are nowhere to be found. Because why? The situation that they think they are, and when they are offering the prayer, when Krishna now presented the risk situation to them, they could not be able to handle it. And one thing about spiritual life is that even those people, if they go, they will come back and start from where they stop. But the situation is that they cannot undo that thing that is presented to them at that time. So they will come to repeat the class and start from where they stop again. It's not that then if everything is lost. That Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that when we are offering prayer, we should offer prayer from our platform, our present situation, so that we will be sincere in the way we are offering prayer to the Lord. I'm a Griyasa now. I will not say, Krishna, I want to abandon everything and surrender and start traveling around and preaching. It may not be the best thing for me for now because maybe my kids are still going to school. But I can pray to Krishna. Krishna, my house is yours, my kids are yours, my everything I have is yours, and I want you to give me the intelligence in which I will use everything in your service. Maybe that is a good prayer from my platform for now. And it's still a pure prayer. It's a pure prayer. It's a pure prayer. Because you are seeing everything connected to Krishna. Just like the purport we read yesterday in text 6, where Prabhupada said that a pure devotee is not afraid of accumulating material wealth. It's there. We should go through it. Is a pure devotee is not afraid of accumulating material wealth. Because why? He is going to utilize the wealth in the service of Krishna. But the fact is that, are you pure to be able to be on that platform? To do that. So now let's go back to the verse we are talking now, text 9, which I say we should comment on. This text 9 is a very, very wonderful text regarding the prayer of Lord Brahma to Gabodakashai Vishnu. Oh my Lord, the material miseries are without factual existence for the soul. Very, very important. Krishna also mentioned this in Bhagavad Gita also. When Arjuna asks a question to Krishna, and Krishna described, I've forgotten the verse now, but it's a very common verse. When I remember, I will call it. Arjuna asked a question, and Krishna replied by saying that whatever we are thinking is due to mental concussion. Prabhupada uses also in this verse. Prabhupada using in this verse, it's not a particular verse that Prabhupada referring to, but the verse I'm trying to refer to is completely different. And what I'm trying to buttress here is that Lord Brahma is saying the material misery are without factual existence for the soul. Yet, as long as the condition sees his body meant for sense enjoyment, he cannot get out of the entanglement. So what I'm trying to say is that whatever situation we find ourselves in this material world is due to the illusion in which we have placed ourselves. Because why? For the soul, all these things does not exist. They are not there. They don't exist for the soul. Whatever we are passing through now, whatever things we are experiencing is due to our mental concussion. All the things, our material desire is coming from the mind. We are still going to read it when we are reading about creation. How the mind can become pure, because why? The mind is a product of mode of goodness. The mind is a product of mode of goodness. So the mind can go back to that original goodness. So Lord Brahma is saying here that the material miseries are without factual existence. They are not material miseries we are experiencing. Many places in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna repeated this again and again. The soul does, the pain we are feeling, the cold we are feeling, the heat we are feeling, the pain we are feeling, the anxiety we are feeling, the fear, all these things they are not connected to the soul. It's due to the concussion of the mind, like Prabhupada mentioned in the purport. And the only way to rise above this concocted mind, this our concussion, the mind, dribbling us here and there, is to take to pure devotional service, to understand that we are not this body, but we are the soul. Is Prabhupada mentioned it there? We have to understand that we are the soul. And to understand, what does it mean to understand that we are not the soul? We're not talking about theory or philosophy. No. To understand that we are not the soul means every day you wake up and chant your rounds, 60 rounds. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. To wake up every morning and chant your rounds means that you have realized that you are not the body. It's a practical way of showing this. And I remember there was one time when I was in Lagos, and Bhakti Maharaj was having serious malaria. Even with that malaria, Maharaj will still stand up and he will still be chanting. How many of us, when we are having malaria, will remember to chant? Raise up your hand. We'll be struggling. You'll be shaking. Oh, Krishna, you should understand, Krishna, I'm sick now. I cannot chant. We'll be struggling. Huh? Maharaj will still come for Magalati in the morning. He will bring seat and he sit down in front of Magalati. He's showing that it's not the body and the body cannot put him down in engaging in devotional service. So to chant your rounds every day, no matter whatever the condition may be, shows that you have realized that you are not this body, but you are the soul. Let us start from that. Before you think that you are transcendental, let us start from that alone. Even when you are sick, sit down and chant your rounds. Then you know that you are not this body. If you can sit down and chant your rounds nicely, even when you are sick, then we know that you are not this body. So let's go to the next verse, verse 10. This one, the purport is very long, so I've summarized it. So we are not going to read all, because if not, we will not finish today. Just by finishing the purport and trying to explain it, we will not finish today. So Aniya Prata Takarana Nishi, sorry. Ani apratata karana nishi nishayana nana manorata diyashanam bhagna nidraha daiva antarantarachana rishayo pideva yushma prasanga vimukahiya samsaranti. Such non-devotees engage their senses in very troublesome and extensive work, and they suffer insomnia at night because their intelligence constantly breaks their sleep with various mental speculations. They are frustrated in all their various plans by supernatural power. Even great sages, if they are against your transcendental topics, must rotate in this material world. So I know many of us have read. So please, we want to summarize what they have read from this test, this particular test. I want to hear from us. Yotishwara Prabhu, are you there?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, I'm
Hare
here.
Krishna.
Hare
Have
Krishna,
you gone through this before the class?
No, Prabhuji. I'm
Okay.
really sorry. Actually, I traveled. I just came yesterday evening from
Oh,
India.
you're welcome.
So, yes,
Welcome.
yes, Prabhuji. Sorry, Prabhuji.
No, it's all right.
Thank you.
Anybody who have gone through it, want to explain? Yeah, Madhuva Prabhu, please go ahead. Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhu, please. Yes.
So this text and the purpose is just trying to make us understand the lifestyle of people who are averse to devotional service. All their activity, they believe that by working very hard, they can achieve everything. And as such, they engage in hard work, that is maintaining big factories, labor, and they speculate, they do a lot of speculations, which even disturb their sleep at night. They think it's their mental ability that is making things to happen, to work for them, not knowing that maybe it's just because of the previous activities that they have those materials to have this time around, but they are taking it the result of their hard work. And sometimes at night they wake up, speculating. Maybe they see one idea or they're thinking. So like this, their life is very miserable. And at the end of the day, everything ends up in the frustration because they refuse to follow devotional service. And even if they are great sages also, but because they don't follow the principle of devotional service, they will continue in the cycle of repeated birth and death. So
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for your contribution. Rasava Prabhu, want to say something? Otama Krishna Prabhu?
Yeah. What I want to say here is that from the eye of this verse, we understand that all our so-called technological developments, all the industries and the so many developmental plans we achieve, they are all one way and the other illusions drawing us from the Supreme Lord. And we think we are gaining, we are enjoying, but actually these very things are those things that drive us towards hell, because they take away our attention from the Supreme Lord. And in reality, we have no peace of mind at all, no sound sleep, no practical enjoyment. We think we illusion ourselves that we are enjoying, but we are all rather suffering ourselves. But we think we are developing. We have invented so many nice things. But these are the drawbacks of life. So if we can slash that mentality down, and now learn how to solely rely on the Supreme Lord and his natural arrangement that he has made for us, we'll be very happy and peaceful.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Any other contribution? One very important point here is that Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, and also the Brahma mentioned is while reciting his prayer. In the verse, Lord Brahma mentioned about people working very hard and they cannot even sleep at night because of so much material desires. And there's truly there are so many people like that who work very hard and they cannot sleep at night because of so many things in their head. Some of them will take medicine even to fall asleep, but still very difficult. So I want to ask one question now before I continue talking about the purport. Is hard work condemned? Means devotees should not perform hard, they should not work hard for Krishna? That is my question. Yes, Prabhu. Yes,
yes. The thing is, the answer is no. Because we think we are the doer that make us fall into these things. But the answer is no. Krishna is the doer. We put Krishna in front of everything we are doing, the center of whatever we are doing, then we understand. It's not the hard work. And the hard work too is not a sin. But what you think out of the hard work, that's the problem. So the answer is no.
The answer is no, that we should not work hard.
We should work, but we should put Krishna the work we're doing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other contribution? Because this verse is talking about condemning the non-devotee who work very hard and very difficult for them to sleep. And not only the non-devotee, even he mentioned that even those great sages also who don't surrender to Krishna, they will also end up rotating in this samsara, vatmanani. So that's why I'm asking, is hard work forbidden for devotees?
The devotee doesn't work hard. The devotee does not work hard.
Okay.
Because a devotee, what is considered hard work according to the verse, is working for sense gratification. But whatever work that is work for or done for Krishna is service. And because it is service, it is blissful. It is never hard work. And that is why devotees can go on and continue to work. And then somebody else looking from outside will be wondering, is this person a human being? Because that person sees hard work, but the devotee doesn't see hard work. He sees only service in Krishna. And because he's seen service in Krishna, is permanently blissful. That is my understanding.
Contribution. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Another person want to contribute from their own perspective?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Please go ahead, Prabhu. Yeah. Madhava Prabhu, please go ahead. Chitra Putra.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
From my own perspective,
Following.
So from my own perspective, we should struggle very hard to follow the principles of devotional service. And once we struggle very hard in this direction, then Krishna himself will, since he said, Sabasya he did Sani bestow. That Krishna that is inside in everyone's heart, and from him comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. So, if one is properly attuned to devotional service, from the mind, Krishna will enlighten the person and even empower him, then give him the direction. And like this, life becomes easier for the person. But somebody who doesn't follow these principles, which are laid down by Krishna, is going to struggle very hard and engage in a lot of mental speculation. And at the end of the day, life becomes very hard for him. Even whatever he achieves through his so-called hard labor will be ruined at the end of the day. So that's my own opinion about it.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Chitra Putra Prabhu, you want to say something?
Yes, Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. To work hard, it's good that devotees work hard. Yes. When a devotee is working hard, it's different from a karmi working hard. When a devotee, let's take a practical example like the Temple of Vedic Planetarium. They are working very hard for Krishna. And when a devotee is working very hard, the mindset is different. He feels like whatever he puts, the effort he puts in, the result that comes out, it is Krishna who has disposed. Right? But when a materialist is working hard, he can do anything to gain whatever he wants, even in a criminal way, because he wants to gain it for himself, to please his family, to do everything. So the mindset, a devotee should work hard, right? A devotee should work hard wherever it is needful, because then mindset is different. When you put the effort and it doesn't come, you see that, oh, it is Krishna, and there is patience, because if it doesn't come, we wait till Krishna does everything. So when we take Srila Prabhupada, for instance, he was working very hard day and night, writing the purport of Bhagavatam in his aspect where it is needful, it is expected of him. But whatever he did, whatever the result he was expecting, Krishna is the doer, and finally he was successful. So a devotee must work hard. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. So just to buttress all your points, so Prabhupada said that one should work as if everything depends on our working. We should work as if everything depends on us, but we should think as if everything depends on Krishna. Means that a devotee should work, like you said, very hard, as if everything depends on our working. But we should think as if everything depends on Krishna. This consciousness is very important for devotee. And that is why you see, when Krishna was advising Nanda Maharaj in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna was trying to use karma mimamsa to convince Nanda Maharaj Karma Mimamsa is a different complete philosophy. To convince them why they should stop what they are doing. Can you understand? Even Krishna himself, using another philosophy in trying to make his own devotee to understand what he's trying to pass through. What does that mean? Krishna was telling Nanda Maharaj, he says, why do you have to offer Jagya to Indra? You don't need to do that. Is it because of rain? Oh, no. Indra is pouring rain in the ocean. Does the ocean need the rain? He doesn't need it. But he's doing his duty. He has to do it. It's his duty to give rain. Whether you do this or not, he will do it. So Krishna was saying about Karma Mimamsa. He said, we should work very hard, because by not working, we will not get anything. It's just like, for example, now we say, okay, some devotees who have reached a very advanced stage, they take the mood of Ajagabriti, the mood of a snake, cobra. There's a big snake like that. He will wait for his prey. He will not walk, he will not look around for food, but he will wait one place and food will come and meet him. And that food, maybe it will take him years to digest it. No, who knows? But he will wait there. And the food will come and meet him. So some devotees, they have reached that level of consciousness that they don't need to work. Whatever they need, Krishna will provide. Krishna will provide. That is a very high level of consciousness, like Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri is a pure devotee of the Lord that doesn't beg. You know, there are devotees who beg. Krishna says you should beg. You beg, whatever you get, you take. But there's another level of consciousness that I will not beg. I will wait until Krishna brings. If Krishna doesn't bring, I will fast. That's another level. And that is why you see when Madhavendra Puri entered Vrindavan, Krishna brought milk to him. And he said, well, my guy, why are you not begging? You know, in my village, nobody goes hungry. So take this milk. So he took the milk and he will take it and he will not go and beg again. He will wait for Krishna to bring another one. That is very high level. But on our own platform now, we should work very hard for Krishna, because we have not reached that level of just sitting down and waiting for Krishna to fulfill our desires. It doesn't work like that. So Krishna, Prabhupada mentioned in the purport of this test, he said factory is like hell. I will just read. He said factory is like hell. So people work very hard in the factories. So Prabhupada call it hell. So it's like hellish planet. And they work very hard to do what? Just for meager sense gratification. And because of that, they cannot even sleep at night. Why? Because they want to gratify their sense urge. They cannot sleep. In the day, they work very hard. In the night, they try to gratify their sense urge. They will not be able to sleep. At the end, if you are not connected to Krishna, all this is a useless waste of time. Shama Evari Kevala. Like it's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. So like many of us have nicely explained, we should work for Krishna, because that is the perfection of all work. Yat karosi, yashnasi, yajuosi, dadasi, yat. Yatapasya sekonteya. Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Whatever you do, whatever you offer, whatever austerity you perform, do that as an offering unto me. So this is our own level of consciousness now. And we should perfect this consciousness of working very hard for Krishna's pleasure. It's very, very important. My Guru Maharaj always mentioned that in their days, you know, those days, they have so much love for Prabhupada. So they work very hard for Srila Prabhupada. In the day, they are making incense. In the night, some of them who are very attached to book distribution, they will still find a way to go to the airports to go and distribute books. They're working very hard to spread Krishna consciousness. So this should be the mood of devotees. So Lord Brahma is mentioning, describing the non-devotee in this particular prayer. Their mentality, their consciousness. And Prabhupada talks so much about that in the purport. At night, hellishly engaged person take advantage of wine and women to satisfy their tired senses. We are not even able to have a sound sleep because their various mental speculation plan constantly interrupt their sleeps. So Prabhupada is condemning material sense gratification, which many of us we have experienced in this lifetime, and we know that it doesn't bring happiness. So engaging, if you in the night you don't sleep and you are chanting Krishna's name in the night, day and night, you don't sleep. That is not hard work, like Prabhu Salika mentioned. It's devotional service. Instead of maybe you go out working for Krishna, distributing books during the day or whatever activity you need to perform in your temple, and at night, instead of you to be sleeping, you carry your bead and start chanting. That is the pure devotional service. But I don't think there are many of us who have reached that level yet. So we should follow the normal routine of engaging in regulated devotional service. Chanting our 16 rounds, waking up, chanting our 16 rounds, attending Magalarati, following, observing Ekadasi, visit the temple. If you're in the temple, you're already in the holy place. We should follow these rules and regulations that Srila Prabhupada has given to us. By faithfully doing this, you are working very hard for Krishna. So, text 11. I will just quickly read this. Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavitarik Saroja Se Sruke Srute Sita Pato Nano Natapusam Yad Yadiya Taurugaya Vibhavayanti Tata Vapurpanaya Sitadano Grahaya. Translation. Oh my Lord, your devotee can see you through the eyes by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their heart become cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotee that you manifest yourself in the particular external form of transcendent in which they always think of you. So I just summarize what Prabhupada said in the purport. So Srila Prabhupada systematically enumerate the process of from Bhakti, from Shraddha to Ashakti. And Prabhupada mentioned about Swarup Siddhi in the purport. When they appear in the heart of the devotee according to his mood, not pseudo devotees. So if we go through the purport, we see Srila Prabhupada explain how a devotee, by following regulated devotional service, can gradually develop his faith from Shraddha to Sadhu Sangha, to Bhajana Kriya, Anantanivriti, to Anantanivriti, then Ruchi, until we come to the level of Ashakti. Prabhupada explained very nicely in the purport, if you go through the purport. So, and Prabhupada mentioned a particular word in the purport. He mentioned Tvam Bhakti Yoga Parivita is one of the word in the verse. When Prabhupada said, we should note, however, that the Lord is never the other supplier of the devotee. Here in this verse, it is particularly mentioned, Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita. This indicates that efficiency achieved through execution of mature devotional service, or prima, or love of God. This state of prima is achieved by gradual process of development from faith to love. So, Lord Brahma is offering prayer here, and he mentioned that your devotee can see you through the eyes, through the ears, by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their heart become cleansed, and you take seats in there. So this process of hearing, reading Srimad Bhagavatam, is very, very important. And that is why if we go to Bhagavatam Canto, Prabhu, if we can open it for us, come to 3:44. Is it? Yeah, 3:44. Prabhu, can you share it for us? Let's read the purport of that. Canto 3:44. Is Prabhu there? No, I said Canto 3, no. Canto 1, chapter 3:44, sorry. Canto 1, chapter 3:44. The purport. Is Prabhu there? Or if you are not there, let me bring my own.
I'm opening it. I'm opening it.
Ah, okay. Bring out Bhagavatam on top of that. Oh, Lord, Lord, table. I want us to read the importance of hearing, attentive hearing, as Papa mentioned in the purport. As Lord Brahma is offering the prayer. Thank you. Yes. So, who wants to read for us the purport? We are going to read all the purport because every word mentioned in the purport is very, very important. You want to read, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, please.
I'll start from the text.
Okay, if you want to start from there, if not, is the purport you want to read?
Okay, the purport. One
Yes,
can
Madam.
certainly see directly the presence of Lord Sri Krishna in the pages of Bhagavatam. If one has had it from a self-realized great soul like Sukadev Goswami, one cannot, however, learn Bhagavatam from a bogus hired reciter whose aim of life is to earn some money out of such recitation and employ the earning in sales indulgence. No one can learn Srimad Bhagavatam who is associated with persons engaged in sex life. That is the secret of learning Bhagavatam. Nor can one learn Bhagavatam from one who interprets the text by his mundane scholarship. One has to learn Bhagavatam from this representative of Sukadev Goswami and no one else. If one at all wants to see Lord Sri Krishna in the pages, that is the process. And there is no alternative. Sutta Goswami is a bona fide representative of Sukadev Goswami because he wants to present the message which he received from the great learned Brahmana, Sukadev Goswami, presented Bhagavatam as he had it from his great father. And so also Sutta Goswami is presenting Bhagavatam as he had it from Sukadev Goswami. Simply, hearing is not all. I take that again. Simply, hearing is not all. One must realize the text with proper intention. The word Nirvishta means that Sutta Goswami drank the juice of Bhagavatam through his ears. That is the real process of receiving Bhagavatam. One should hear with rapt attention from the real person, and then he can at once realize the presence of Lord Krishna in every page. The secret of knowing Bhagavatam is mentioned here. No one can give rapt attention who is not pure in mind. No one can be pure in mind who is not pure in action. No one can be pure in action who is not pure in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. But somehow or other, if someone hears with rapt attention from the right person, at the very beginning, one can assuredly see Lord Sri Krishna in person in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for reading for all of us.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much.
So, the points I'm trying to bring here, this purport is very important. We can take note of it for our preaching also. The point I'm trying to bring here is very, very important regarding to what Lord Brahma mentioned in the verse. He said, "Oh my Lord, your devotee can see you through the years by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their heart become cleansed, and you take seat in there." That's what Lord Brahma is saying. He say, "Oh Lord, your devotee can see you through the ear." So it means that to see God, start from where?
Hearing.
You have to see God through the years. Many people are very eager to see God with their eyes. Papa many a times mention that our eyes is limited. What can we see with your eyes? And that is why towards the end of the purport it is mentioned. He said the secret of knowing Bhagavatam is mentioned here. No one can give rapt attention who is not pure in mind. It means that if we give rapt attention to Bhagavatam, we become pure in mind. He said no one can be pure in mind who is not pure in action. So it's a systematic process. And no one can be pure in action who is not pure in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. But somehow or other, if someone here will get attention from the right person at the very beginning, one can assuredly see Lord Shri Krishna in person in the pages of Bhagavatam. This is very, very important to give right attention to hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the same thing, Lord Brahma is offering prayer to the Lord here. That by hearing Shivata Swakata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtana, read the other story about Drani Vidu Noti Suri Satam. That just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, one can cleanse his heart. We do not see all the anarthas in our heart. And that is why it's in the purport. If you go through the purport, I'm not going to read it because I asked us to read it before. I'm just going to explain. If we go through the purport, Srila Prabhupada explain the importance of hearing. When we hear, then we develop faith. From the right source, we develop faith. That is Shraddha. Then when our faith becomes solidified, it turns to sadhu sangha. We appreciate the association of devotees. Then when it becomes even more solid, then it turns to bhajana kriya. We start really engaging in devotional service, in the association of devotees. Then after that level, we come to the level of anatta nivriti, cleansing our heart, like Lord Brahma mentioned in the verse. He says, you are so merciful to your devotee. He said, no. And it does hearing their heart become cleansed. Anatta nivriti. So when we hear Srimad Bhagavatam, we come to that level after Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, then we come to anatta nivriti, removing all the anarthas in our hearts. And this is the most difficult stage for every devotee. It's not easy. Anatta nivriti stage. Sometimes our anatta nivriti can take us a whole lifetime. Sometimes it can take a second, struggling with our weaknesses. It can take a whole lifetime for some devotees. You know that this is your weakness. After practice devotion, you find yourself falling into it again. Oh, Krishna, why? Again, you try. Before you know, you fall into it again. Oh, Krishna, why now? Oh, and I say, I will not do this thing again. No. You see yourself falling into this same thing again and again. This is anatta nivriti. You are not unable to overcome your anarthas. Because why? There is no strong devotional backing for it. When you are in the association of devotee, it's very easy. Then you come to the level of ruchi. When you come to the level of ruchi, you're on another stage entirely. Because Prabhupada mentioned in the purport that when we come to the level of Ashakti, that is when we develop affinity to a particular deity that we love to hear about. Let's say, for example, now, we see some devotee like Prahlad Maharaj. Ishtadev is Lord Nishingadev. That is the deity worship. He wants to hear about Lord Nishingadev every time. And we know many of our acharya, many devotees also, they worship different form of Krishna. Like, so if you go to India, you see some people, they are very attached to Lord Ramachandra. There's this, when Chaitanya Prabhu was traveling, he met one devotee in South India. He was very attached to Lord Ramachandra. He was always singing the glories of Lord Ramachandra because he has reached the level of Ashakti. When you reach the level of Ashakti, you become attached to a particular form of God. Naturally. So he was very attached to Lord Ramachandra. Every time he was singing the glories of Lord Ramachandra. And when he got to a stage, the place where they kidnapped Mother Sita, he could not eat. Just imagine how much he has become absorbed in hearing the glories of the Lord. Even when he got to that stage, he could not eat. Chaitanya Prabhu has to go around and get him that part in the Adi Puran where it is mentioned how Mother Sita was not the one kidnapped and brought for him to convince him. Then after that, he cooked for Chaitanya Prabhu. He said, "Who can eat?" Just see how much a devotee have become so attached to the Lord. So all of us can come to this stage by gradually hearing about Srimad Bhagavatam with rapt attention. We hear Srimad Bhagavatam, like Prabhupada mentioned, then we come to that stage called Swarup Siddhi. Swarup Siddhi, you develop your perfection, you become perfect by developing pure love for the particular deity of your heart. And Lord Brahma mentioned here, the love that time come and sit on the throne of your heart. To come to this stage means that we have to constant. This hearing is the medicine, no? Is the medicine to illusion and maya. This hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, although it's very difficult for most of us, we have so many other things we are engaging in. We want to do this and want to do that. We are giving up the real medicine. Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is we have not realized now how important of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. That is why we give importance to other things. Oh, I want to do this. I don't have time for this, for Bhagavatam now. I can always listen to Bhagavatam. One who have developed attachment for hearing Bhagavatam, we always take Bhagavatam as priority. Just like Parishit Maharaj, he abandons everything. He abandons everything. Let everything go and sit down now. I want to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. He renounced everything. So, Lord Brahma is offering prayer to the Lord here and glorifying this. How devotee gradually from hearing come to that stage of Swarup Siddhi, as mentioned in the purport by Prabhupada. When we come to that stage of Swarup Siddhi, when we attain perfection, now at that time, with a particular form of the Lord, we are connected with, naturally we develop in our heart. Some of us may be Gauranga Mahaprabhu, some of us may be Lord Ramachandra, some of us may be Lord Nishingadev, some of us may be Radha Krishna. Don't say because somebody love Radha Krishna, oh, me self, I want to love Radha Krishna. It's not natural. You have not reached it. You have not reached that stage yet. That's why you are thinking like that. Oh, this is what you love Lord Nishingadev. Maybe self I should be worshiping Lord Nishingadev. You are just imitating. It's not natural. When you come to stage of Swarup Siddhi, it comes naturally. You don't look somebody's worship and say you want to imitate. No, it comes to you naturally. You develop is a natural affection for the particular form of the Lord. You just develop it naturally. That depends on which part of the Lord that attract you the most in Srimad Bhagavatam, because all the pastimes of the Lord are there in Srimad Bhagavatam. So at a particular time, one particular pastime will attract you the most. And the more you hear that particular pastime of the Lord, the more you become purified, the more you develop attachment to him. And once you have that attachment has reached, Baba has come. And from Baba, Prem. So that is the simple thing that Srila Prabhupada explained in this text 11, in the purport about attending to Swarup Siddhi. Then towards the end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada explained something very briefly. He says, I will just read the conclusion. Prabhupada says, the conclusion is that the Lord cannot become the other supplier of a pseudo devotee, but is always prepared to respond to the desire of a pure, unconditional devotee who is free from all tinges of material affection. Like I said, if you are still a neophyte, you cannot control the Lord to sit in your heart. No, it doesn't work like that. That's what Prabhupada meant there. Pseudo devotee. Oh, now you think I'm a devotee. Krishna, I want this. Then you want Krishna to come and do it for you. Krishna, I want this. You want Krishna to be your other supplier. It doesn't work like that. But when we become pure, naturally the form of Krishna that we love the most will appear in our heart. Naturally. We don't need to work for it. We don't need to endeavor for it. So we should just continue studying of Srimad. This, whatever Bhakti Bible we are studying now, we should use this as a catalyst to make us develop attachment to studying Srimad Bhagavatam. We should not study it just because we want to have the degree of Bhakti Vaibhav. Then the goal is defeated. If it's just for the degree, it should be a catalyst for increasing our affinity in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. I don't know if you have sincerely tried, if we are sincerely studying Srimad Bhagavatam, we will feel that this is what I just want to do. I don't want to do anything else. I just want to study Srimad Bhagavatam. If you are sincerely chanting the only name of Krishna, you feel this is what I just want to do. I don't want to do anything else, but I just have to chant. But because we are in the material world, we have to do other things. So we force ourselves to attend to our material responsibilities. But still, so this class should be a catalyst for us to develop attachment for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. We should make it a duty in our life that every day we must study at least Srimad Bhagavatam for 1 hour or 2 hours. Very, very important. Because that is the only thing that can purify our heart, nothing else. Shrivata Swakata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana. We have to develop affection for hearing Krishna's pastimes. That is the only way we can purify ourselves. Nashta Prayeshwa Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Utama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtike. Only by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. And what is the power of hearing? You want to chant. What is the power of chanting? You want to hear. They are connected. You cannot separate them. If you are sincerely hearing, you want to chant. If you are sincerely chanting, you want to hear about Krishna. So this is very, very important. We should take it very serious. So let's go to test 12. Because today we are going to stop at, what is the time now? We're already 10. So let's go to test 12. We must finish the first aspect of the lesson today. Lord Brahma prayer. Then next week we start from the response of the Lord. Test 12. Who want to read? Jyotishwar Prabhu wants to read.
Yes, Prabhuji, I will read.
Please.
Very good. Nati prasiddhati tathopachi topachare raradhita surgane ra dibadha kame yat sarva bhuta dayaya sadallabho peko nana janeshya vahita sudra dantaratma. Translation: My Lord, you are not very much satisfied by the lordship of the demigods, who arrange for you for your worship very promptly with various paraphernalia, but who are full of material hankerings. You are situated in everyone's heart as the super soul, just to show your causeless mercy. And you are an eternal well-wisher, but you are unavailable for the non-devotees.
Yeah, you can read the purport. Read the first paragraph of the purport. Yes.
Okay, Prabhuji. Purport. The demigods in the celestial heavenly planets, who are appointed administrator of the material affairs, are also devotee of the Lord, but at the same time, they have desires for material opulence and sense gratification. The Lord is so kind that He awards them all sorts of material happiness, more than they can desire. But He is not satisfied with them because they are not pure devotees. The Lord does not want anyone of His innumerable sons, the living entities, to remain in the material world of the threefold miseries, to perpetually suffer the material pangs of birth, death, old age, and disease. The demigods in the heavenly planets and the many devotees on this planet also want to remain in the material world as a devotee of the Lord and take advantage of material happiness. They do so at risk of falling down to the lower status of existence, and this makes the Lord dissatisfied with them.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Let's stop there. So here, if you see the prayer, Lord Brahma is offering here. He says, "My Lord, you are not very much satisfied by the worship of the demigod, who arrange for your worship very pompously, with various paraphernalia, but who are full of material anchoring. You are situated in everyone's heart as super, so just to show your costless mercy, and you are internally well-wisher, but you are unavailable for non-devotees." So here, the Lord Brahma is expressing how, in the purport, Prabhupada talk about the two kinds of devotees. We have the Sakama Bhakta and Nishkama Bhakta. So this verse is talking about the Sakama Bhaktas, the demigods, those who have attained the position due to their desire, devotional having mixed with material desire. They worship the Lord, but they still have desire to enjoy this world. And that is why some of them are put in that position, Sakama Bhakta. But the pure devotee of the Lord, who are Nishkama, they don't have any desire at all in this world. And that is why we see, if you look towards the end of the purport, Prabhupada uses a very nice explanation. I will just say, now a question arises. If the Lord is sitting in the heart of non-devotee, why are they not moved to become devotees? It may be answered that stubborn non-devotee are like the barren land of alkaline feed, where no agricultural activity can be successful. As part and parcel of the law, every living entity has a minute quantity of independence, and by misuse of minute independence, the non-devotee commit offense after offense to both the Lord and his pure devotee engage in missionary work. As a result of such act, they become a barren as an alkaline feed, where there is no strength to produce. Very important analogy we should take note of in that Prabhupada's purport. Why? A question, he said, if the Lord is sitting, the Lord, now we may ask, the Lord is in the heart of everyone, no? Why is he not allowing us to become a pure devotee? Somebody may ask that question. The Lord is situated in our heart. Why is he not making us to become pure devotee if he really wants us to become pure devotee? And the Prabhupada is giving a very wonderful answer in the purport, that the reason why we are not being forced, or we are not becoming pure devotees, it may be answered that the stubborn non-devotee are like a barren line of alkaline feed. An alkaline feed, a feed, when you throw anything there, it will not grow. So when we become offensive, we become like a barren land. And that is why Chaitanya Prabhu warned us against committing offenses. Even as a devotee, we should not commit offenses at Vaishnava parade. It was like a mad elephant. But in this case, it is mentioned the non-devotees, they are like a barren land. What does that mean? Whatever you throw there will not grow because of too much alkaline on the land. So even though the Lord is situated in the heart of non-devotee, but because they are very offensive to the Lord and the pure devotee, they will not have natural affinity for God, for Krishna. They will not have that natural affinity. And that is why, as a devotee, we should pray to the Lord so that we don't become offensive. Very, very important. Sometimes due to our position, due to our situation, we become offensive to the Lord and his devotee. What will happen is that gradually also we become a barren land. Our devotional creeper will become dry up. Our devotional keeper, we have seen many times, devotee is practicing, and after some time, you start feeling dry up. You don't feel enthusiastic for those things that you have enthusiastic for in the beginning of your devotional service again. You are not enthusiastic to chant in the kirtan. You are not enthusiastic to read the scripture. You are not enthusiastic to chant your rounds. No enthusiasm. Because why? Of offenses. So we become like a barren land, alkaline land. So we have to be very, very careful. So, and also one other point that is mentioned here is that the demigods, like mentioned here, the Lord is not very satisfied by the worship of the demigods who arrange for your worship very purposely. We can see even in the Vrindavan pastime, after Krishna has conquered after Krishna has humbled Indra, when Indra now later realized that this is the supreme personality of Godhead, he came to worship the Lord. But why the Indra was doing the Indra Puja, was worshiping the Lord, the Lord was showing so much. He was not interested. He was just waiting. When is this guy going to finish this and let me go and play with my friends? He was just so much preoccupied with that. Krishna wanted to go and be with his pure devotees. He's not interested in the opulent worship of Indra, using all the opulent paraphernalia. That's the same thing Lord Brahma is mentioning here, that the Lord is not very satisfied with all the opulence worship of the demigods. Because why? Their devotional service is mixed with material desire. So if we want the Lord to be interested in our worship, we should be Nishkama Bhakta, like Prabhupada mentioned in the purport. We should be Nishkama devotee. That is, devotee that is completely pure, no material desire. Nishkama Bhakta. Nishkama Bhakta. Ataiva Santa. Only a devotee who is free from material desire that can become peaceful. Bhakti Kami. They are all karmis. Bhakti, Mukti, Siddhis Kami. Sakali Asanta. All these other devotees, the demigods who with material desires, those who want material liberations, they are all have material desire. They cannot be peaceful. Only a pure devotee of the Lord can be peaceful. And this is what Lord Brahma is saying here, that the Lord is not satisfied with even the pompous or opulent worship of the demigod, because they are still tinged with material desires. And towards the end, he said, although you are the super soul in all, he said, you are situated in everyone's as a super soul, you just to show your costly mercy and you as eternal well-wisher, but you are unavailable. Even though the Lord is situated in everyone's heart, still, like Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, because of the alkaline nature of their hearts, is not fertile for devotional bhakti, for bhakti kripa to fructify. Still, they will not become attracted to the Supreme Lord. So we should take note of this. So let's go to the next 13, verse 13. Want to read? God. So I have to increase my speed.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, please read.
Kumsam Ato Vida Kamabi Abhavadya Tinena Kugra Tapasa Karicharya Cha Rajanam Bhagavata Tava Kriyatu Damo Pita Krichit Mrijyatena Yatra. Translation. Both the pious activities of the people, such as performance of Vedic rituals, charity, austere penances, and transcendental service, performed with a view to worship you and satisfy you by offering you the fruitful results, are also beneficial. Such acts of religion never go in vain. Up to purpose. Can I continue?
Let me just summarize the purport so that we can go to the next one. Okay. And so let's move. I want to also increase our speed a little bit. So in the previous verse, Lord Brahma says that the Lord is not interested in the worship of even the demigod because they have material desires. And also the non-devotee is not available to them even though it's situated in their heart. But in this verse, Lord Brahma is saying that, what is he saying? It's about the pious activity of people, such as performance of Vedic. So even those who perform Vedic rituals, penance, austerity, with the desire to please the Lord, those activities, they never go in vain. Means that desire to please the Lord is the priority. Like Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, is any pious activity done for the pleasure of the Lord, the non-devotee will one day result in full-fledged, by the non-devotee, we one day resort to full-fledged devotional service. So any activity performed, even by the non-devotee, for the pleasures of the Lord, like we have seen many times, even in the pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we see even the tailor of Shiva's Thakur, he got liberation just because he was connected to Shiva's Thakur. So anything that is connected to the service of the Lord, for the pleasure of the Lord, we want to give us full-fledged pure devotion. Like that's why we see our guru will say we should go out for Harinam. Go out for Harinam. Why? Because just for the non-devotee hearing the holy name of Krishna, devotee chanting for the pleasure of Krishna, they are hearing the holy name of Krishna, they will become benefited. When they want it, they will come to the part of devotional service. So whatever austerity, even in India, we can see it's many a time, some people, they don't follow the regulative principles of Bhakti. But still, you see, when it's Ekadasi, they observe Ekadasi. Maybe some of them, they eat meat and all those things. So on Ekadasi, they say, oh, I will not eat meat on Ekadasi, I will not drink beer and not do all. So they observe some austerity, even on Ekadasi day. So what is this verse is saying that those people who are performing those activities that are pleasing to the Lord, will one day get some benefit of devotional service. Just because those activities are pleasing to the Lord. Previous one, the demigod, they are engaging in pompous, opulent worship, but not for the pleasure of the Lord, but because for their own material desire, the Lord is not interested. But those who are engaging in activity that's for the pleasure of the Lord, even though they are not devotee, they will one day gain result. This is important. This is important. That is the essence of that verse. Then we go to next verse. Text number 14. Shashwa Swarupa Mai Shaiva Nipita Beda Mohaya Bavoda Dishanaya Nama Stitilayeshu Nimitani La Rasaya Tinama Idam Shakri Meshwarya. Let me offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Transcendent, who is eternally distinguished by his internal potency. His indistinguishable impersonal feature is realized by intelligence for self-realization. I offer my obeisances unto him, who by his pastimes enjoy creation, maintenance, and dissolution of cosmic manifestation. So here, Lord Brahma is offering prayer to Kabodakashai Vishnu, to the Lord. What distinguishes the Lord from the living entity is the internal energy of the Lord. And another point by Srila Prabhupada is the word rasa. La Prabhupada mentioned here rasa. So what is the enjoyment of Gabodakashai Vishnu? His own rasa is with the creation. Just like Krishna performed his rasa lila with the gopis. So here the enjoyment of Gabodakashai Vishnu is in creation. In creation, maintenance, dissolution. That is his own relationship with the creation. So Lord Brahma is realizing his relation with the Gabodakashai Vishnu and is offering respect to Gabodakashai Vishnu. So let's go to text 15. Okay. Yasya avatara guna karma vidambadani. Namani Yesu nigame viswa shagrinanti tenaika jama samana sai vaitwa samyanti apavrita miritam tamajam bapradye. Let me take shelter of the lotus feet of him whose incarnation, qualities, and activities are mysterious in imitation of worldly affairs. One who invoked his transcendental name, even unconsciously, at the time he quit his life, he suddenly washed immediately of the sin of many births and attain him without fail. So here is a very wonderful prayer. Devotee, you can take note of it also. This is another point of reference when you are talking about the only name of the Lord. Some of these verses, we may not come across them again, but when we are going through them, we can take note of them for our preaching, or preaching activities. It's very, very important. You know, here he's talking about the importance of the only name of the Lord. So he's saying, let me offer take shelter of the lotus feet of him who is incarnation, quality, and activity, and mysterious imitation of worldly affairs. One who invoked his transcendental name, even unconsciously at the time he quit his life, certainly washed immediately of sin of many births and attain him without fail. So this is a very wonderful verse So here, the point here, Prabhupada emphasized on in the purport that Lord Brahma said, he mentioned here, he said, him who is incarnation, quality and activity and mysterious imitation of worldly affairs. That the Lord is imitating worldly affairs. In what way? That Krishna is like performing a drama. Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, like an actor, acting like a king. Have you seen an actor acting like a king? He behaves like a king on the stage. So Krishna is imitating the worldly affair. He accepted Lord Mother Yashoda and Nanda as his father and mother. He has Devaki and Vasudeva as his father and mother. He has his friends. So Krishna is seemingly imitating the worldly affairs for his own pastimes, for his own enjoyment. But he now goes further to say, no, it's not, although he's doing this, but it's not ordinary like me and you. It's completely transcendental. How? One who invoke his transcendental name, even unconsciously. And what is a good example of that? Ajamil. Ajamil is a very good example of this particular verse. Papa mentioned that name towards the end of his purport. Ajamila is a good example of one who uttered the name of Krishna even unconsciously when he's about to leave his body and get full benediction of doing that. If Ajamila called the name of the Lord unconsciously and get the full benefit of calling the name of the Lord, what about some of us who are seriously chanting every day? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We are consciously chanting. And somebody is mentioned here, he says, is unconscious, even unconsciously. Somebody unconsciously chant the name of the Lord, you get all the mercy of the benefit of the chanting the name of the Lord. Talk less of those who are consciously chanting of the name. Do you know what benefit we are getting? We don't know. And that is why we should continue to take it very seriously, because we don't know how much we are being benefited just by chanting the name of the Lord. So we should continue to take it very seriously. So let's go to the next verse. That is text number 16. Somebody want to read text number 16?
Prabhuji, can I read?
Yes, please, go ahead, Prabhu.
Yo vaham cha girishasya vibhu swayam cha stityu bharva paralaya hateva atma moolam bhitatva tripad vavadha eka uru prahosha tasmai namo bhagavate bhuvan drumaya. Translation: Your Lordship is the prime root of the tree of the planetary system. This tree has grown by first penetrating the material nature in the three trunks, as me, Shiva, and you, the Almighty, for creation, maintenance, and dissolution. And we three have grown with many branches. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you, the tree of the cosmic manifestation.
Thank you, Prabhu. So this is Lord Brahma continues his prayer. Here is offering and describing the Lord. And this prayer here, we can get full explanation about this prayer in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15. You can read about the Ashwata, the banyan tree, that the reflection of the banyan tree, of the spiritual world we have in the material world here. So Lord Brahma is still corroborating that point here, that your Lordship is the prime root of the tree of planetary system. So Krishna, or Gabodakashai Vishnu, is the source of all the planetary system. He is the root, because the lotus flower that came out from the navel of Gabodakashai Vishnu is the source of Lord Brahma, And it's the whole universes we are seeing, all the whole universes, not only this our Brahma universe, but the whole universes, they are within that lotus stem. They are within that lotus of Lord Brahma, the whole universe we are talking about. So what is the root? If Lord Brahma is on top of that lotus, which is Lord Brahma is on the topmost planet, is above that lotus, and the lotus is coming from the root, from the navel of Mahavishnu. So who is that? Where is the root coming from? From Gabodakashai Vishnu. So that is what Lord Brahma is saying. He's offering the prayer that you are the root of all the planetary system, the root of the tree of all the planetary system. The tree has grown by force penetrating the material nature in the tree trunks as me, Shiva, you, Almighty, for creation, maintenance, and dissolution. We three have grown with many branches. Therefore, I offer my obeisances unto you. So he's offering prayer to the Lord. And we can see that, like we say, this tree we are talking about, if you want to know more about this tree, you can read the chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita, where the Lord described the branches and the tree, twigs and everything, how they are connected to the creation. We can go and read more about that in chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita. Papa mentioned that also in the purport. So then let's go ahead. We want to read chapter 17.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Papa, please go ahead.
Loko Vikamanta Kusale Pramata Kamani Ayatwa Jite Baba Achane Swe Yas Tavaras Ya Balabani Ya Jifta Sam Sadyas Tinati Animis Saya Namostu Tasmai. Translation. People in general all engage in foolish acts, not in the really beneficial activities which are enunciated directly by you for their guidance. As long as their tendency for foolish work remains powerful, all their plans in the struggle for existence will be cut to pieces. I therefore offer my obeisances unto him who acts as eternal time.
So, test 18. Let's read test 18.
Can I continue?
Yes, Papa, please.
Okay. Yasma Bivine Aham Api Ve Parada Isiyam Adya Sita Sakala Luka Namaz Pritam Yaat Kepe Tapo Baru Sabo Baru Tasmanas Tasmai Namo Bhagavati Divma Kaya Suvyaham. Translation. Your Lordship, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you who are indefatigable time and the enjoyer of all sacrifices, although I'm situated in an abode which will continue to exist for a time duration of 2 Paradahas, although I'm the leader of all other planets in the universe, and although I have undergone many, many years of penance for self-realization, still I offer my respects unto you.
Test 19.
Prabhu?
Yes, Papa, please go ahead.
Yeah, could you explain this duration the cup paradas that we must use?
Okay, you want me to talk about that? That is another 1 hour talk. Oh.
Okay, just
okay.
Briefly.
What happened is that I think we will just stop here today. Then we'll continue from test 19. And we'll try as much as possible. Maybe next week, when we start on Saturday, we'll first of all recite the prayer to the end. We read the Sanskrit and the translation. We reach to the end, and we'll come back one by one and take those points we want to dive deep into. We can take it, we can do that like that. We can do it like that also. That's what I'm going to do next week. So that, because if I say that the way, if I'm following the way I'm doing, that I want to take one verse and we go deep and talk about what the purpose, talk about the poor and the Lord, the prayer, we may take longer time. So like you mentioned about this parabda, Prabhu want us to talk about the time. Lord, if you see in the word translation, Prabhupada make it very simple. He put the time there. Dua Prarabdha. The Dua Prarabdha, Prabhupada put it there. If you do the calculation, it's going to give you, if you do the calculation of the Dua Prarabdha, it's going to give you 309 trillion 600 billion years. 1, 2, 3. 6 billion years. If you do the calculation, it will give you 309 trillion.
311 or 311.
Probably say
311 trillion.
Not 11. It's 309. No. If you do the calculation. Have you done the calculation? Is there? Papa put the letters in the purport in the what translation there?
Yes. 4 billion, 300 million.
If you multiply all those
times 30
together,
times 12 times,
yes,
times 100.
If you multiply all those together, it will give you 309 trillion. 309 trillion and 311 trillion is very close. It's not different. We know that in another Papa mentioned 311 trillion. Yes, calculation. So if you do this calculation that Papa put here, it will give you 309 trillion 600 billion years. That is the lifetime of Lord Brahma. And this lifetime of Lord Brahma, as mentioned here, is going to be the prerequisite for the chapter 11 topic. This Prarabdha mentioned here, Dua Prarabdha, is going to be the intro, what we bring about the topic in the chapter 11, where Maitreya is trying to explain to Vidura the calculation of time, how to calculate that Lord Brahma's life from atom to the biggest Lord Brahma, and what that Brahma's time means to Lord Vishnu. Is going to explain that in chapter 11. So this, what we are seeing here, is a total lifetime of Lord Brahma. So here, Lord Brahma is saying, your Lordship, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are in the vegetative time and the enjoyer of all sacrifice. Although I am situated in an abode which is continuing to exist for a duration of 2 Prarabdha, although I am the leaders of all other planets in the universe, and although I have undergone many years of penance or several, still I offer my. So Lord Brahma is, is describing the position in which he is. No matter what is his position, I still offer my respectful obeisances to you. Even though I'm the only one who have the longest lifetime in the whole universe, still I still offer my respect to you because you are my creator. So Lord Brahma is offering the prayer to the Lord in this kind of consciousness, describing what makes him to be unique in the creation of the universe. So I think we should stop here. Is there any comment or question?
Yeah, what I want to understand here is that the true paradas used here.
Yes, Prabhu.
Does it mean simply the day and night of Lord Brahma?
No, the true parabda here means it's not the day and night of Lord Brahma. It's a total lifetime of Lord Brahma. It's the total the lifetime of Lord Brahma. Yeah. It's not a day of Lord Brahma, no. It's the total lifetime. Prarabdha, according what Lord Brahma is saying here is that
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, that's why there is a multiplication of 2 That
Yes.
means his day and night. So his whole life.
If you, no, see, if you see the calculation, in the word-to-word translation.
Yes. So the calculation.
Okay, sorry. Yes, you are right, Prabhu. It's day and night, but Prabhupada go ahead to calculate his lifetime in the verse.
Yes.
Are you seeing it?
Yes.
You cannot see it now, but it's there in your own. Yes, it's day and night, but Prabhupada go ahead to calculate his whole lifetime.
Yes, because our lifetime composes of day session and night session.
Yes, you are right, Prabhu. So what I'm saying is that Prabhupada use that opportunity to calculate the whole lifetime of La Brahma here. So that is what you say a little bit. I was trying to mix up here when you say Prarabdha. So yes, Prarabdha means is day and night, but Prabhupada end up calculating his whole lifetime here, which is 309 trillion years or 311 trillion years, whatever. So what is the main purpose of this is Lord Brahma is saying here that this is the long duration of my life. Although I'm the highest, the topmost being in this universe, I am so many things mentioned. I continue to exist for as time of duration of 2 prarabdhas, although I am the leaders of other planets. No. Prabhu, you are confusing me. I'm falling into your trap. No. He's talking about his lifetime. And that's what Prabhupada explained in the let's read the purpose. He said Brahma is the greatest personality in the universe because he has longest duration of life. He's more respectable personality because his penance influence and see have offered respectful businesses to the Lord. He couldn't, outside of Brahma, do as he did and offer respect as a matter of duty. So if you look at the translation, Prabhupada says, although I am situated in abode, which is continuing to exist for a time of duration of 2 prarabdhas. Are you seeing the translation?
Yes.
Do you see what Prabhupada said in the translation?
Yes.
What did he say?
Yes, it's clear. He says,
duration of prarabdhas.
Yes. It means that that prarabdhas now is the calculation of Lord Vishnu. That Lord Brahma is trying to tell us that he lives at 2 prarabdhas of Lord Vishnu. When we go to the chapter 11, we will get more detail about prarabdha, nimesha, muruta. All these words are used in chapter 11.
Okay.
If you see the translation, Prabhupada explained that he lives for the 2 prarabdhas. He said that. He said, although I am situated in abode, which is continuing to exist for a time duration of 2, it means that the whole entire where he lives take on 2 prarabdhas. So he's describing what makes him to be unique. He's not talking about his 2 day and night here. He's talking about he lives for 2 prarabdhas, according to the calculation of Lord Vishnu, which when we get to chapter 11, we will understand more about this.
Okay.
It's like 2 lifetimes. It's as if.
No, not 2 lifetimes. It doesn't mean 2 lifetimes. Prarabdha is a word for. Yes.
That is the breath at the end, the one breath of Lord Vishnu.
Don't worry, when we get to chapter 11, we understand more about nimesha, murta, prarabdhas. Don't worry, when we get there, we will understand more about that.
Okay.
Chapter is there in chapter 11. So he lives for 2 prarabdhas of Lord Vishnu. When we get to that place, we will understand it, because even when we get to chapter 11, we understand the the detail, what it means to be Limesha, the meaning of Limesha, Murupta, and how that is connected to Lord Vishnu time. Everything in chapter 11 is explained about the calculation of lifetime of Lord Brahma, but in connection to the Lord Vishnu time. That is what is explained in chapter 11. So I think we will stop here because we have overgone our time. Any contribution from other devotees who are in the room? Anything we want to talk about today's topic or question or contribution? This topic of creation is the most technical part of Srimad Bhagavatam. So when we get to chapter 11, chapter 10, also we are going to be more technical in terms of creation.
It's very complicated in understanding it.
Yes, but those who are very scientific, who have scientific brain, it may be very easy for them. You know, we all have different brains. Some people are very, some of us, we have story kind of brain. We like stories. Some of us, we like philosophy.
Yeah.
Some of us, we like technical things, technical things. That is very difficult for others to understand.
Yes.
Some of us, that's what we like.
I see.
Hare Krishna, I think Prabhu's network is hanging now. His time is already actually up. So I guess we'll have to stop the class here.
But
okay, it's back. Kavi. Yeah, he's struggling with the network, maybe the battery or something. Yeah, he finally is gone. So I guess, Shitra, are you with us? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So thank you all for being a part of the class. We'll stop here for today and then continue next weekend. Hare Krishna. So let's chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Vanchakarpata Rubias Chakripa Sundara Savasya Patita Nantakoti Vaishnava Vinde Ki Jai. His Grace Kavikarnapura